Hate, the feeling of intense or passionate dislike for someone. The biggest issue with hate in sports is the lack of empathy. NBA fans don't realize one fact: the NBA players are human. The NBA has a hate problem. Let's talk about it. The Oklahoma City Thunder recently drafted Gonzaga center Chet Holmgren with the second overall pick in this year's draft. Being a skinny 7-footer with a guard-like skills, a lot of people expected him to have injury problems, which is what happened. That's not my problem. This is my problem. The term bust in the NBA is used to refer to such players who didn't live up to draft expectations. Whether it be through laziness or lack of drive, busts are easily some of the most hated NBA players ever. But not injuries. Injuries are something which cannot be controlled and is not in the NBA players' control. It makes no sense to call them busts just because of injuries. Injuries ruin careers, dreams, and lives. Imagine this. You're a bright young NBA star, picked high in the draft. Get injured, and everyone's calling you a bust. How would you feel? My problem is that NBA fans are literally positioning Chet to become a bust. And if he underperformed, he would get even more hate. Chet, like any NBA player, is a human and deserves to be given a chance. The curious case of Russell Westbrook should be summarized within this one tweet. Russell Westbrook broke a 50-year-old record and then averaged a triple-double for 4 out of 5 seasons. Had one mediocre season in which his coach didn't know how to use him, and he still averaged 17, 8, and 8. And casual fans says that he's terrible and washed up. Russell Westbrook had one bad season, and people are making fun of him and his name. It's sad to see someone who hasn't been anything but supportive and consistent for every team he's played for be scapegoated.
Me and my wife was at teacher-parent conference for my son, and the teacher told me, she's like, Noah, he's so proud of his last name. He writes it everywhere. He writes it on everything. He tells everybody, he walks around and says, I'm Westbrook, that's his last name. And I kind of sat there in shock, and it hit me like, damn, like I can no longer allow people, for example, Westbrook to me is now shaming, like it's shaming my name. It's my legacy for my kids. It's a name that means more, not just to me, but to my wife, to my mom, my dad, the one. I haven't done anything to anybody. I haven't hurt anyone. I haven't done anything but play basketball, and it affects them even going to games. Like I don't even want to bring my kids to the game because I don't want them to hear people calling their dad nicknames and out of their names for no reason because he's playing the game that he loves.
He has been more consistent than LeBron and AD, even with all these trade rumors, and he's supporting Darvin Ham. It's sad to see someone who's been more consistent than LeBron and AD get personally attacked and had a better field goal percentage than Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and Devin Booker. Similar to what I said about Chet, Russell Westbrook doesn't deserve the amount of disrespect he gets from fans. Dwight Howard was one of the most liked players in the beginning of his career with the Magic. Dwight Howard led the Magic to the finals at the age of 22 as the clear best player on his team. He won the dunk contest in 2008 and won 3 consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards from 2009 to 2011. The problems began in 2012. In 2012, Dwight Howard tried to get his head coach Stan Van Gundy fired before requesting a trade. Dwight was traded to the Lakers, teaming up with Kobe, Steve Nash, and Pau Gasol. The infamous 2013 Lakers failed, and Dwight Howard was the scapegoat. Dwight Howard was playing injured and still put up good numbers. If you include his beef with Kobe and people calling Dwight soft, his good side is throwing in the dark all the time. People say he smiles too much, like it's a basketball, it's a game, man. From the beginning of his career to around the time he requested a trade from the Cavs in 2017, Kyrie was one of the most liked players in the NBA. But throughout his stint with the Celtics, he battled injuries and mental health problems. Combine this with locker room problems, and Kyrie was the scapegoat. The misconception of Kyrie's image could be answered through this video.
My knee started acting up. And when my knee started acting up, I had to go back to Cleveland, where I got my original surgery, to get 2 screws taken out of my knee. I don't know if anybody in this chat has ever, I don't think anyone's ever, if you've ever got knee surgery and you had screws put in your knee, you can understand what I'm saying. But if you have not, I'm going to do my best job to explain it to you. I had 2 screws in my knee with wires tying in my kneecap. I got that done in 2015 after I went down in the first finals. So fast forward 2018, my knee starts acting up. They take out the wiring. They take out the wiring in my kneecap, and they test it for an infection. They take out the wiring. It comes back positive for an infection. I now have to get a PICC line going from my bicep all the way to my heart to take antibiotics. I had a PICC line, and I still have the scar to this day, going straight from my bicep all the way to my heart. It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever dealt with. It was one of the most embarrassing things, because my daughter's asking me, what is that in my arm? People are asking me, like, why are you not going outside? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? So not only did I have an infection in my knee, but they had to take out the 2 screws, and I was left with 2 holes in my kneecaps that I eventually had to fill. But just that traumatic experience alone kept me out of the playoffs. I was supposed to be back in those playoffs. I was supposed to be back in those playoffs in 2019. When we made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, I was supposed to be back. But because I had an infection in my knee, I couldn't come back. So now they had to take the screws out. And by the way, these are the details the media would never tell y'all. Ever, because it's all about performance. Oh my gosh, you didn't show up. Oh my gosh, you let your team down. Oh my gosh, you sold on us. Oh my gosh, you let us down. Oh my gosh. And it's like, literally, I dealt with one of the most traumatic experiences in my life dealing with that knee injury. So bomb, I don't need no sympathy from anybody. I'm over it at this point. I got through it. But fast forward that summer, I'm coming off knee surgery. I have muscle atrophy on my left leg. My quad looks like a small chicken wing, bro. I have no bounce. I have no athleticism. I'm slow as shit. I'm sitting in bed and I'm just frustrated. What happened after that, after I'm sitting at home and I'm dealing with knee surgery, I don't know if you've ever been injured, if anybody's ever been injured, right? If anybody's ever been injured, when you can't walk or you can't do the normal things that you want in life, bro, that leads to depression, bro. Yeah.
Following his departure from Boston came the 2021 NBA season, the infamous mandate situation. We all know the fact that Kyrie was able to sit courtside without a mask, but he wasn't allowed to play. The entire situation was stupid. Kyrie was standing up for people who lost their livelihood because of the mandate. He wasn't just doing it because he felt like it. The fact of the matter is that basketball is just a game that we all love and cherish. NBA players are not just players, they are humans. It's time for us, as fans, to realize that.